And good morning out there, Warrior Nation. This is Cornelius Neal. Sorry to get this started a little late, but welcome to the Saturday Morning Coaching Show right here on Idabel's first 96.7 KBEL. Don't forget, you'll be able to catch this on Spotify as well. And if you happen to be out of town, you can't get our station, you can also hear us right now on KBEL967.com. Getting in for last night's game, it was a tough one. Just wild finish and a lot to unpack as Idabel travels up to Checotah. They went fall to the Wildcats in overtime. Final score 55-53. It's been a while since we played in overtime, if memory serves correct, but it's a lot to unpack. So let me get your thoughts starting off from last night's game.
Yeah, it was a tough game. It was a hostile environment. But I think our kids handled it really well. Even facing adversity, which we told them beforehand they were going to face, and I think our kids handled it very well. And that one hurt. That one stung them quite a bit. A lot of guys were really emotional after the game. The biggest thing that I was happy with was, we didn't have a lot of, bad incidents or anything crazy on our end of guys doing anything dirty or crazy like that. Our kids were, really disciplined and really took that one to the chin and kind of just took it and felt that one. And hopefully it burns inside of them going into this next week versus Lincoln. And we have a lot more fight and a lot of fight going into this game.
Right. I mean, there's a challenge right there with the number one team in 3A coming to town. I don't think anybody scored a touchdown on them in district play. So, I mean, that may be a challenge for the offense. Hey, can we put 6 up on the board on Lincoln Christian? That will actually send a bit of a message to the rest of Class 3A that, hey, doesn't matter. If your defense is on the field, we're going to find a way to get in the end zone. And with all that being said, I think we had some record-setting performances on the offensive side of the ball. We're going to get into that real quick. And lot of scoring. Goodness, 108 points total. And, we knew what was coming with Checotah. Jaden Ellen and Cole Rowland. There was a lot of Jaden Ellen early on, and then Cole Rowland closed it out, late third quarter into fourth quarter, and then he punched in a touchdown in overtime and, got the 2-point conversion. So those are hard guys to bring down. And let's get into these stats here. This one, you might want to look into posting online and maybe sending his player of the week. Starting with McCollin Dixon. He had about as good as an all-around game as you'll ever hear about. 16 carries for 187 yards, a rushing touchdown. He also went 15 to 24 passing, 282 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. So those are great numbers to put up. The rest of the rushing, Jordan Lewis had 2 carries for -8. Quincy Pond had 1 carry for 6. Jayshon Dixon, 15 carries for 59 yards. Titus Baker, 3 carries for 8 yards, and his first rushing touchdown of the season, maybe of his career, but I know he has a receiving touchdown. Now he has a rushing touchdown. Your receiving numbers, Jordan Lewis, great game. 7 catches for 170 yards, 5 touchdowns. Benny and Tifwa, 5 for 75. Val Golston, 3 catches, 37 yards, and a touchdown. Those are some really interesting, outstanding numbers to put up on offense. Dixon nearly went for 300 in through the air and nearly went for 200 on the ground. And second half, he did everything he could to put that offense on his back and get in the end zone, because I know you had that one score from 48 yards out. He had a 20-yard run. He had a 31-yard run, and then also an 11-yard run later in the contest. So really big numbers to put up offensively. If you want to have a look at that and get your thoughts on how things went offensively.
Offensively, we played really well. They try to play us cover 2 man, which we talked about. Going into it, trying to figure out ways to get our guys the ball, and so we figured out, they were going to double Benny singled up if he was singled up, so we had to put them together to try to get him some touches there, and so. Jordan came in clutch and made some big plays for us, and him and Matt connected, obviously on 5 touchdowns. That's a huge night for them. Those guys, play their butts off, man. And up front, man, I don't know how many sacks we gave up. I want to say maybe 1 or 2, if that.
If at all.
If at all, any, and those guys up front, all the credit to them in the world. That's not a slouch D-line by any means. And we figured them out. We figured them out in the middle of the first quarter, and we were able to roll offensively, man. And I'm super proud of our offense and our guys, and just, excited to see what else they can do to finish this season out and roll into the playoffs.
Right. Defensively, we did get 1 turnover. Quincy Pond with the interception. And I think I figured out how to get how I differentiate the solo and assist tackles. So I'll put those in through Max Preps later today. And, they did what they could to get Ellen down and, Cole Rowland, tough runner. And then they tried to air it out a little bit in the second half, and they hit on a few passes. But, yeah, there was – a lot going on in that game, and not to say that the officiating caused the final result, but there's just some stuff that you just cannot let occur, can't let pass, and one call here or there shouldn't affect the outcome of a ball game. And starting with Crew Corsi getting ejected in the second quarter. If you want to explain to the fans how that happened, and I don't know what the referee's decision was on throwing him out when Checotah did a few things that they should have had players thrown out. But I get, we say it all the time. Whenever you go north, whenever you go over the mountain, but actually you're just going north on 69, 75 and everything. Watch out. It's always some nonsense. So if you want to talk about that as far as with the officiating, because that's
yeah, not gonna criticize the officials too much. We understand going into it. We understood going into it that it could have been bad, and we faced what we faced, and we seen what we seen. If you were there, you saw what it was. But regardless, we told our kids we just got to play through it, and there was times, our kids were trying to calm me down, because I'm trying to fight for them and go to bat for them there. But the Crew situation, he's in a pile, he's trying to punch at the football, and they said he punched the kid in the back, and he said that was completely unacceptable, that he missed the ball and hit the kid in the back. And that it was first time he did anything. Crew did anything all game. He hadn't got any warnings or anything. And they went ahead and ejected him for punching at the football. And so that was a questionable call there. I seen, a couple of their guys, maybe take a couple blows at our kids. But, it is what it is. We're on the road. We're the away team, and it can be like that sometimes. Just like you said, when we go over that mountain. But our kids fought through that really, really well. I'm super proud of the way they fought through that situation and that adversity. And it's one that we would like to get back. And there's going to be some clips sent into the OSA, and we'll get it all cleaned up and figured out. But yeah, those officials probably won't be coming to Idabel ever again.
I hope not. Yeah, we can go without seeing them ever again. So. And then you mentioned they tried to eject you at the end of the game. I don't know how that worked because clock's already hit 0.
Yeah,
game's over with. So what was the point in doing that?
Yeah, I don't know. It was a situation, man, towards the end of the game. I mean, they obviously aided the runner on the 2-point conversion to get into the end zone. They put a lineman in behind the quarterback, and he pushed the runner in. And so I went out there to discuss it, and I asked him, hey, he's aiding the runner. He was like, no, he wasn't. He was already in. And I was like, hey, man, he aided the runner. And he was like, you better get out of my face. And so all I said was, or what? And he threw the flag. And so I don't know if he didn't like my or what. And I probably should have kept that comment to myself and just backed away. The game was over. That's a mistake on my part, and I have to learn and set a better example for these kids. But, it was frustrating to lose like that, and we shouldn't have been in that position as it was, but we put ourselves in that position. We lost that game, officiating or not. We lost that game because we put ourselves in that position. We shouldn't have got to that point, and it did. So I don't know about the ejection. I don't know how that process works. After the clock hit 0, he threw a flag on me. I didn't say any vulgar language or anything like that. I was honestly asking him a question, and he didn't like that I was right there in his face, and so maybe I pissed him off, and that it is what it is there, and I'll go through the process with the OSSA and talk about it and figure out what the next steps are. But it was interesting to say the least from the start of the game to the end to after the game actually. After the clock hit 0. So we'll see what happens and what's going on, but officiating happens. We're gonna have bad officiating everywhere we go for the most part. Officials aren't perfect. They're human too. They're gonna make mistakes, and just like we make mistakes on the football field, it is what it is. We're gonna continue to grow and get better and fight through adverse situations.
All right, with that point right there, that seems like a good time to step away, take a break, and we're going to get into these district scores and talk about what happened across Class 3A District 4, and get you updated on where may we be going, where we might be going here in a couple of weeks. Looks like we're going north regardless, but we'll be right back. You're listening to the Saturday Morning Coaches Show right here on Idabel's First, 96.7 KBEL. And welcome back to the Saturday Morning Coaches Show, also known as the Idabel Coaches Show, right here on Idabel's First, 96.7 KBEL. And we're going to get into the scores from first across our district, and then we'll get into District 3A4, see how everything shakes out. So, scores from last night. Holland Hall beats Locust Grove 44-26. Kind of surprising that Locust Grove was able to put up 26 points on Holland Hall, and they do have some weapons offensively over in Locust Grove. They're just relatively young, but they are definitely getting better. This one might be a little bit of a shocker, but then again, not really considering where the game was played. Stigler beats Muldrow 26-25. I mentioned it yesterday. Wild stuff happens whenever you go up to Stigler and play them at Panther Stadium or whatever they call that field. But Neither one of those teams will be in the playoffs, but, another win for Stigler at home. I'm not sure if it's their senior night, but, congratulations going out to them. And then Lincoln Christian shuts out Eufaula 62-0. So Lincoln Christian definitely handled business. I'm surprised. Well, and that game was in Eufaula too. So Lincoln Christian's a team. They're going to be able to overcome whatever you throw at them. So officiating really ain't going to matter too much. So that's what happened in 3A3. Now over in the 3A4. Sequoia Claremore at Berry Hill. Berry Hill wins that one 48-0. Cassia Hall beats Verdigris 42-14. Veneta beats Cleveland 14-6. Inola beats Jay, final score 30-7. So we were talking about this before we started off on air. Unfortunately, I really don't care, who we face in the first round. There does seem to be a scenario where we'll end up third or we'll end up fourth. That'll all play out next week. So the big game next week that we'll have our eyes on, besides ours, will be Checotah at Eufaula.
Yeah. So scenario kind of plays out like this. If Checotah wins, we'll fall to fourth place in the district. We'll have the same district record if we were to lose to Lincoln Christian. And if Checotah loses, then we would claim third. And in that northern district, couple scenarios there. If Berry Hill beats Cassia, Berry Hill will become the 2. Cassia will be the 1. I know they'll be the 3. So if we were to finish third in the district and Berry Hill were to win, we would end up going to Berry Hill. If Berry Hill were to lose to Cassia next week and we were able to secure the third spot with the Eufaula win, we would go to Inola. In that instance, if we were to fall to the fourth spot, regardless of Berry Hill winning or not, we would be going to Cassia. So it's Cassia, Berry Hill, or Inola there, depending on how we finish out here, and depending on how Berry Hill and Cassia game goes next week.
Okay, who's Nola have next week?
Inola has, I think, Cleveland. So yeah, they'll win that one.
For that one. So yeah, definitely. Get your Pike passes ready if you happen to have them. Save some gas money if possible, and then wherever we end up playing, we will let you know where, and if there are any special situations. Hey, you can use this site to pay to get into the game. All of that, we'll let you know. We'll keep that updated on the K-Bell Sports Facebook page, and after next week, hey, we're going to be going somewhere to play in the playoffs. That's what matters. And, I'm good with either those three schools. It seems like all three of them, they have turf. It's going to be a 3+ hour trip one way. And, we're used to playing on turf here. Most schools now, I don't know if there's a percentage of schools in Oklahoma with turf versus natural grass, but I've looked at some of these schools in, say, Valiant's district and Hugo's district. They have turf now. I caught myself watching Wyandotte and Concord the other night. Wyandotte has a nice turf field. So definitely we'll be hitting the road. And with that, let's talk about these area games from last night. Broken Bow beats Tulsa McLean 48-7. No surprise there. But Hilldale beats Poto 36-22. Does that make Broken Bow district champs right there, or do they still need to beat Poto at Poto? How does that work?
I believe they are the district champs as of right now, but they would need to win their last one to secure that.
Yeah.
And to secure that 1 seed, so that'll be huge for them over there.
Yep, and Poto's a tough team. I'm not sure what happened between Hilldale and Poto. Might have to check that out because I think Poto streams on YouTube. I think maybe Hilldale does as well. So that would be something to check out. Find out what happened. If there are any injuries or anything like that, or Hilldale just outplayed Poto. And that game was in Hilldale, correct? It was at, I think it was at. I'm not sure, but Hilldale came away with the victory. Valiant, they stay undefeated. They beat Wilburton 30-0. A little bit surprising there, considering that was in Wilburton. So congratulations to the Bulldogs. They got a showdown next week against Vian in Valiant. Now, I've heard whispers of that game maybe being played on Thursday. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, I have. I think it will be next Thursday. It will be one that most of the county should get out to and go watch. It's a district championship game between two undefeated teams, and that'll be exciting to watch, man. Hopefully the Valiant Bulldogs can almost shock the state, and Thursday night, and then Friday night we'll come out and hopefully shock the state also with the big win over the state champions in Lincoln Christian.
Right. Yeah, so, hey, McCurtain County, if you're not doing anything Thursday, make your way over to Valiant. Check out the Bulldogs and the Vian Wolverines. Pretty sure it's going to be a 7 o'clock kickoff from Bulldog Stadium in Valiant. Moving over, Hugo and Kingston. Kingston wins this one 48-6. Not sure what their standings look like. That's going to just about do it for Hugo in the playoffs as far as playoff hopes. However, congratulations to Antlers. They pick up a win over Atoka. The final of that one was 36-9. So I know that definitely helped their playoff seeding. I think
they clinched. Yeah.
They clinched. Congratulations, Antlers, for clinching a playoff berth. That's a relatively new coach there, right? Just like yourself.
Just got there. Yeah, Coach White. He was a GAS Southeastern the year after I left, and went on and took a job at Apache. Took the head job at Apache, and now he just took the head job at Antlers this season. And good buddy of mine, him and OC over there, good friends of mine. I'm super excited for them that they clinched the playoff berth their first year there at Antlers. They've done a great job turning that program around, and and running some spread stuff for Antlers over there. They've tried it in the past, haven't been successful, so I'm glad they're having some success with the spread over there.
Right. I remember that here in the last few years we played them in district. They try and go in the straight, and then they go back to that wishbone where they just hand it off, and you have just about the Antler student body behind you trying to block. And it worked for them for a while because they had some good-sized backs and linemen up front. So congratulations once again to Antlers. So at this point, we're going to take a break, and we're going to talk about some college football. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Saturday Morning Coaches Show right here on Idabel's First, 96.7 KBEL. Welcome back to the Saturday Morning Coaches Show right here on Idabel's First, 96.7 KBEL. Let's talk some college football. First of all, before that, Idabel youth football, they're getting ready to kick off in Valiant here shortly. The flag game with the 6 and under teams, that will start here in about 15 minutes over at Bulldog Stadium in Valiant. Then the 8 and under game, that will kick off at around 11 a.m. And then the 10 and under game will be at noon. So good luck to Coach Galloway and all those youngsters over there. I know that 8 and under team is really, really stout. They've played in Texas and pulled out a win just last weekend. So good luck to everybody involved. Also, Southeastern celebrating homecoming today. They are hosting Henderson State. That is a 2 o'clock kickoff at Spend Life Wisely Stadium at Paul Air Field. If you're not able to make that trip, that game you can watch on YouTube. They do have a page for watching their football, basketball, volleyball, all of that. So be sure to check them out. And also, I'm not sure if I'm going to make that trip. I've had like one person ask me, hey, am I going to try and come to Durant to watch them? I'm not sure. Maybe get a chance to talk with an old colleague of mine before he goes on air, Jade Lindley. He's still doing play-by-play radio, and now you'll hear his voice on YouTube, and that's our owner, Jay's cousin. So there is a bit of a connection there. 11 a.m. kickoffs. You have Penn State at Ohio State on Fox. Vanderbilt at Texas on ABC. As I understand it, Arch Manning will play. Here's an interesting one. Miami at SMU on ESPN. And then also West Virginia at Houston on FS1. Any of those any interest to you, the 11 a.m. kickoffs?
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously Penn State, Ohio State, one of the best rivalries in college football, in my opinion, especially when they're playing at Penn State in the whiteout, man. That's fun to see there. Vanderbilt at Texas. Vanderbilt is playing really good football right now. And then SMU at Miami also. I mean, those are some really, really good football games to watch and to be watching. So if you're not doing anything, I mean, turn on the TV and watch some good football. Just flip through the channels because that's some good football right there.
All right, 2:30 kickoffs. We got Indiana at Maryland. That'll be on CBS. I forget what they call this game. It's Georgia at Florida. The game will be played in Jacksonville. That'll be on ABC. You also got Notre Dame at Boston College. That'll be on ESPN. And then you got Texas Tech at Kansas State. That will be on Fox. And then just a little past that, OSU will be making the trip up to Lawrence to take on Kansas. That's a 3 p.m. kickoff on ESPN. It's on one of the ESPN networks. The big thing with that is Mitrell Lopez is scheduled to play in that one. I don't know if he's going to start, but definitely look for number 84 in orange and white. I know he's had a bit of a hand injury, whatever, but look for him. He'll definitely see the field tonight. Hopefully he'll get some passes and show everybody what he can do. Besides him, there's Rodney Fields, Wright City connection. So have you had a chance to talk to Michelle this week?
Yeah, I talked to him earlier this week. He sent me an encouraging message about how our season was going early on, and I checked with him, making sure he was taking care of his schoolwork, academic stuff like that. Just check in with him, how he's doing after surgery and things like that. Seen he made the travel roster. We talked about that a little bit, but that kid right there, man, is special, man. I love that kid to death, man, and I'm super excited to watch him play. I'll be at Southeastern this afternoon, but regardless of the Savage Storm playing, my phone's gonna be on the OSU and Kansas game, and I'm gonna be watching 84. And I just hope I don't miss time cheering for Montreal and Henderson State scores a touchdown or something. And I'm over there cheering and
Right.
everybody's looking at me crazy. But yeah, that's my dog right there. Shout out to Montreal, man. I hope he balls out. I mean, I hope they put him back there and return one or two. I hope he gets a chance to return one. I really want to see him, be able to use his shiftiness and explosiveness to go crib one on the return. But I think he'll end up with a few catches tonight and really make his mark on college football and what's to come for him in his career.
I was trying to find if Utah State would be in action today. Looks like they may have a bye this week because I don't see anything with them. They lost to New Mexico last week, 33-14, and then their next game is a week from today. They'll be hosting Nevada at 6:30. So I guess they have a bye this week. Have you had a chance to catch up with Ravion?
Yeah, I messaged Ravion and talked to him for a little bit, man. Me and him, we just a lot more just joking and clowning around, man, with me and him. Ravion, man, another great kid, man, that deserves everything that he has going for him right now. I hope that his career continues to blossom and flourish into something amazing. I hope that he's doing amazing up there at Utah State and just learning and soaking it all in early on, and hope he's not missing home too much because I don't want him coming back.
Right,
he needs to stay gone.
Right, especially being that far away, get acclimated to that college life. It's okay to stay on campus and, miss home for a little bit, but, you gotta spread your wings and fly.
Absolutely.
College is all about growth and learning. And that's something you can't do back in McCurtain County. It's always all right to come back, but you got to get out and learn things on your own. So, delving away from football real quick. Baker University had their first game a couple of nights ago. Idabel Shane Threadgill, 24 points as a freshman. So, big up to Shane. I'm not sure if he started or I haven't had a chance to catch highlights. I know that game, you could watch it online. Did you get a chance to?
Yeah. I watched it, talked to him before the game, just told him, hey, stay clear-headed, man. No matter what happens, when you get your opportunity, go make the most of it. And, so I went back and watched the game because I missed the timing of it, missed the game. But it's online, so you can go back and watch it. I checked the box score at like 10 p.m. after the game. And I'm looking down. I know he's the highest number on the team with number 25, so he's at the bottom. So I'm scrolling through and I'm seeing all these guys with little shot attempts and nobody's making shots, and get to his name and he's 8 for 16, 50% from the field and 24 points, leading the team in scoring as a freshman, first game of college, and super proud of Warrior, man. He's a baller, and he works his butt off. He's a gym rat. He's in the gym year round, always has been. Really good kid, respectful, nice. And I'm super happy for him. I talked to him after the game. I messaged him and said, "That's how you coming, dog?" And he said, "Yeah, man, I got to, man." And so, we had a nice little conversation about it. I'm really proud of Warrior, man, and he's going to continue to have a great career in college, and hope he continues to grow and blossom as well.
Absolutely. Now, next month, they will be not too far from the house. They will play at Langston. I want to say that is December the 17th. So if you happen to be in the Oklahoma City area, go check out Langston against Baker University. Once again, December the 17th. I've already looked at our basketball schedule. We won't be in that area, so not sure if they'll come any closer to Idabel than that. But they have to make that trip. So with that, let's get into the 6 o'clock and evening kickoffs. You got South Carolina at Ole Miss. That is a 6 o'clock kickoff on ESPN. South Carolina and Ole Miss. Ole Miss is coming off the win at OU last week. So that should be a pretty good contest. You also had Georgia Tech at NC State. That is a 6:30 kickoff on ESPN2. And then finally OU is at Tennessee, 6:30 on ABC. I think I saw Tennessee is going to their dark uniforms to play at home. They look pretty good as from what I've seen on TV. So scary hours over in Tennessee. Hopefully OU utilizes that run game because I watched them against Ole Miss between Blaylock and Xavier Robinson. They have a good thing going, running the ball. If they can get some continuity, some healthy guys that can play up front and to block for those two guys. It seems like John Mateer is still not 100%, but he's got weapons to throw to. He's got the receivers to throw to. He has a tight end to throw it to, but seat might be getting a little hot for Brent Venables, but I understand everybody wants to win now, but it just the way college football is, I just don't see that as being possible at every situation. You know, LSU fired Brian Kelly, and they were 5-3 at the moment. So, interesting time to be a college football head coach, because even if you get fired, you have a pretty nice little buyout that you can, you know, live off of, and maybe be an analyst somewhere else, or help another program. So just interesting stuff with college football today. Once again, that game will be on ABC. If you happen to be out and about and you're running errands at that time in the evening, maybe you're getting something to eat, I know either Q102 or KKBI will have that game on the air, so you won't miss too much of anything getting from the car back in your house. So that being said, have you had a chance to look at Lincoln Christian on film, on video?
Yeah, we trail them in the district schedule. So most of the teams that we've played, their 2 games they send, Lincoln's involved in that. So we pretty much got every district game on them. Gonna reach out to Shiloh Christian and Arkansas and hopefully see if we can't get that film. That's the closest team that they played them so far. We're going to reach out to them and see if we can't get that film from them and just see, you know, what worked versus them, how it worked, what the situation was. And, you know, Lincoln Christian, you know, obviously, you know, don't have to talk about them too much about them being a really, really good team. You know, back-to-back state championships. I think they're on a 30-game win streak or something like that in the state. It's up there. But, you know, that's a really, really, really good program. Great coach, and Coach Ricky up there, you know, he's done a great job with those guys. Son's a starting quarterback. You know, they returned all 5 starting linemen this year. You know, all 5 linemen, quarterback, 2 running backs, and so they're a really, really good team. And so, you know, we're hoping to go in here and really shock some people as to how close we play them. And you know, thankfully they don't run the eye. You know, because we struggle with the eye, obviously. But you know, they're a spread team, and hopefully we can muscle up to what they have size-wise and line up and play with them for a little while and show people, hey, man, we're the real deal. And so it'll be a test for us for sure. You know, if we end up 3rd, we'll end up on their side of the bracket. If we end up 4th, we'll be opposite of them. So, you know, we're going to have to see them one way or the other, you know, whether now or down the line. So we might as well go get after them now.
Right. So with that being said, we're going to get out of here. Once again, Idabel will host Lincoln Christian Friday night. That'll be 7 o'clock right here at Warrior Nation Stadium. To catch up on everything and let you know what's going on throughout the week, be sure and catch the Warrior Minute. We'll have that on Monday, 7:50, 9:50, and 11:50 a.m. So you have 3 chances to catch it. We're going to get out of here. Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Saturday Morning Coaches Show right here on Idabel's First, 96.7 KBEL.